got you started now.
Hello, Felicity Dufombel from the Catholic Voice. I'm here with Francis Sullivan. Thanks for joining us, Francis.
It's a pleasure.
The reason I'm with Francis is because, well, to congratulate Francis on behalf of the Catholic Voice,
Thank you.
the Catholic community across the Archdiocese, on receiving, and I have to get this right,
Please do.
an award in the Queen's Birthday Honours
Yep.
as an officer
Mhm.
of the Order of Australia in
Yes.
the General Division, which means very little, the General Division bit to most of us, but an officer of the Order of Australia.
Yes.
Congratulations,
Thank you very
Francis.
much. Yeah.
How do you respond to the award?
Well, firstly, it was a big surprise, and I was never expecting it, to be honest. But I do feel pretty chuffed, and it's nice basking in the warmth of all the messages, and even being showered with accolades for once in my life.
Indeed. Francis, the award recognises what? It recognises you, your work for social justice, particularly in health and aged care.
Yes.
Of course, you were the head of the Truth, Justice and Healing Council,
Yes.
the Church's response to the Royal Commission into child sexual abuse. How do you see the award in terms of recognition for Francis Sullivan or beyond?
Oh, I absolutely see it as a recognition for the people we worked for, particularly in the Truth, Justice and Healing Council, and the people who worked in the council, all of those that put their shoulder to the wheel. People who have been abused in the Catholic Church have had a dreadful history. A lot of that history has been resisted. We know it's been concealed. We know how hard it is to speak up. And the council was of one, as were the church leaders and bishops, that it was time for the church to come clean, to fully engage with the Royal Commission, to be transparent, and to let the victims have a chance to tell their story. Because in telling their story, history was being told. And it's great to have been part of that, and in some way to assist the church in confronting its shameful history.
We've spoken about how the church has responded, Francis, and the word you used was patchy.
Yes. Patchy because, as always in the Catholic Church, it's very difficult to get a uniform approach to anything. So some bishops and some dioceses, some religious orders really went forward with great gusto to demonstrate that things had changed, that there was more transparency and accountability, that victims were being put first. In other places, and I won't name them, that's not the case. And it's still not the case. And we know even today that the Bishops' Conference still struggles to make sure that there's uniformity in policies, in procedures and approaches. And I know that that really irritates those that are doing better. But the truth is, until we all do better and are consistent across the church, we can't guarantee people, particularly those who have been abused, particularly those who come forward with complaints, that they are going to be treated fairly and consistently regardless of where they are.
Thank you for your work, Francis, and an award well deserved,
Thank
I'm
you,
sure. And
Felicity.
thank you on behalf of the Catholic Voice and, as I said, the Catholic community. Just switching to another topic, when we were chatting, Francis, I asked Francis about his family. Francis is married to the beautiful Susan, who's actually
Absolutely.
doing our filming at the moment.
Yes, we can reverse the camera.
Susan has been at Catholic Health Australia for many years,
Yes,
leading a program there, a ministry formation leadership program.
yes, the Ministry Leadership Program.
Yes, which sounds terrific, and you'll learn about that in the Catholic Voice too in a future issue.
Coming to you first.
Indeed, you've heard it here. But you have 3 children.
Yes.
None of those children are in Canberra.
No, we
Tell
have
us where these children are.
Well, it's the Sullivan diaspora, really. We've got Claire, our eldest, who works down in Melbourne, and works and lives in Melbourne. And she's the closest to us because our second daughter, Camille, is in London.
In London?
And
In lockdown?
In lockdown.
In lockdown.
And, watching every day to see what Boris does next. And then we have Tim, who lives in Brooklyn, works in Manhattan, and he's ducking every day what Trump does next. So it's been a really intense time for them and for all of us. And
How often do you get together?
twice a week we get together on WhatsApp. And we're juggling all the world clocks so that On Tuesday night at 9:30 Australia time, we all lock on, and that's middle of the day basically for Tim, or was it Camille? I can't remember now. Maybe Tim, and a bit later in the day for Camille, and obviously Claire's the same as us. And then on Saturday mornings we decide to get up early at 7:30.
That's a sacrifice.
It is. Well, when you see our son getting up early on the other time, you realise it's a big sacrifice. And so we get up early on a Saturday morning so that it makes it better for Tim and Camille.
The last time the Sullivan clan were together
Mm-hmm.
was Easter last year.
Yes, exactly.
The next time the Sullivan clan will be together is?
Whenever they can let people travel and not have to quarantine for 2 weeks and then go back and quarantine for 2 weeks because you gobble up your leave on a plane flight.
All of that. Francis Sullivan, thank you for joining us.
Thanks very much, Felicity.